All right, let's talk about this John Hopkins newsletter. This is crazy because I couldn't believe it when they hold on, let me just yeah, this John Hopkins newsletter, I was kind of shocked when I saw it because I saw the newsletter and I was reading it before they retracted it, okay? And I was reading it and I was like, whoa, this is crazy information. Like, we need to get this out there. We got to talk about this. And here it is. And of course, this is a PDF of the the article retracted by the newsletter. So it's not officially endorsed. And it's like, come on, look at this. All right, so this is a percentage of total deaths per age category. All right, this is just the first graph that they've got right at the top. And nothing changes throughout the weeks, throughout the year. All right, this is 1 year. Okay, this is starting, let me see. Can I zoom in on this? I can. All right, great. From week 1 ending 2/1/2020 to week 32 ending 9/15/2020. The numbers remain very stable. Okay? There is no crazy uptick in deaths in any of these categories. It's all relatively smooth. In fact, around the 10th or 11th week, there was a little bit of a dip where it went down. So there was less deaths in these categories. Okay, and I was like, all right, right off the bat, I'm like, well, where's the mountain? Where's this mountain that Cuomo loves talking? He loves talking about the mountain. Like, we finally got over the mountain, guys. You see the top of this mountain? I mean, in my head, I'm thinking, yeah, you did that. I remember, yeah, you created that mountain. Anyway, going back to this data, there was no mountain. There was no mountain because according to this article, the deaths were normal. People die. Millions of people die every year. It's just part of life. Oh my gosh, what's going on? People are dying. Yeah, people die. I know. It's part of life. I've had really close people in my life die that throughout my life, and it sucked every time, but it is a part of life, and it's something that I had to face as a young child even. I faced that. People think losing a pet's hard. Imagine losing your parent or your grandparent. I mean, it happens, and it will happen. If you're lucky enough to have them around for most of your life, it's amazing. But people get sick and people die. That's part of life. Now, this article, let's go back to it. Retracted, by the way. Let's see. According to the new data, the U.S. currently ranks first in total COVID-19 deaths, new cases per day, and deaths. Oh, excuse me. COVID-19 cases, new cases per day, and deaths. Genevieve Briand, Assistant Program Director of the Applied Economics Master's Degree Program at Hopkins, critically analyzed the effect of COVID-19 on U.S. deaths using data from the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, in her webinar titled COVID-19 Deaths, a Look at U.S. Data. From mid-March to mid-September, U.S. total deaths have reached 1.7 million, of which 200,000 or 12% of total deaths are COVID-19 related. Instead of looking directly at COVID-19 deaths, Briand focused on total death per age group and per cause of death in the U.S. and used this information to shed light on the effects of COVID-19. She explained that the significance of COVID-19 on U.S. deaths can be fully understood only through the comparison of the total number of deaths in the United States. After retrieving data on the CDC website, Briand compiled a graph representing percentages of total deaths per age category from early February to early September, which includes the period from before COVID was detected to after infection rates soared. Surprisingly, the deaths of older people stayed the same before and after COVID-19. Since COVID-19 mainly affects the elderly, experts expected an increase in the percentage of deaths in older age groups. However, this increase is not seen from the CDC data. In fact, the percentages of deaths among all age groups remain relatively the same. This is crazy. All right, now there's a lot of, it goes on and there's a lot of data, but that's not what I want to get into. That alone, right there, it shows that they were just normally happen and slapping a COVID-19 label on them, going, oh, it's COVID-19 deaths. There's a spike. It's Yeah, because people are going to die normally, because they are normally dying. Okay? Then they retracted it. Now, this is what makes it really crazy. All right? I think it's the Streisand effect, where they take something away and it makes people want to look more. They're like, oh, well, why did they take it away? Why? What's the reason? Because look at this. Where is it? Did they say it here? It was brought to our attention that our coverage of Genevieve Briand's presentation COVID-19 deaths, a look at U.S. data, has been used to support dangerous inaccuracies that minimize the impact of this pandemic. What? Used to support? They're not denying the data. So the data is accurate. Okay? Now they're trying to say, well, they're trying to, these people are using this data to prove that the COVID isn't as bad as everyone says, as the media is pushing down everyone's throats. I talked about it yesterday. They're trying to make COVID passports. We're not allowed to travel internationally anymore until you prove that you've had a COVID vaccine. Well, why? If this is showing that the deaths haven't spiked, it's normal deaths that have just continued normally throughout the year. Actually, they compare it to other years, and it's the same. It's normal. So there's no uptick in deaths. That, to me, is a huge red flag. Okay? Why are they trying to hide this now? Okay? Probably because the powers that be that don't want us not being afraid of this anymore are like, whoa, those facts are dangerous because that will make people not afraid of COVID anymore. Yeah. If you're elderly, stay in. Don't go out. Don't visit your family, be protected. And if you do visit them, be safe about it. But if you're young, get the kids in school. If you're, middle-aged and healthy, keep your business open. This is all about control. Come on. It's just so blatantly obvious now. God, I can't have it. It's ridiculous. I can't stand this anymore. And now they're blocking everything. Especially when those doctors in the middle of the year were like, yeah, hydroxychloroquine works. Take it with some zinc, take it, and I don't remember the third ingredient, but you mix it together, take a cocktail, boom, you're good. No need for a vaccine. Now they're finally admitting, okay, hydroxychloroquine, it does work for some people. They won't fully admit it because they want people to take this vaccine. They want people to be afraid. They want people afraid of this, and it's crazy. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this fear. I'm not driven by fear. I don't do things because of fear. That's emotional. I'm logical. That's why I don't tend to watch horror movies, because for it to be a good movie, I guess, for many people, there can't be logical characters. There can't be people that follow logical moves because they'd survive. They wouldn't get killed off because they wouldn't make stupid decisions. They'd stay together, they'd make a plan, and they'd get out safely. Done. Or they'd look at the facts, cross-reference with other facts to make sure that it's actually a deadly pandemic. Right now, we don't even know. There's that meme that floats around. You got the painting mask, which is like, the respirator thing. Then you got it shows a radioactive mask, which is like the full head thing with like this tube that goes out through a breathing apparatus, and a few other things, sanding and welding, or I don't know, whatever. And then, you got a COVID mask, the deadliest pandemic that we've ever faced. And it's just like a cloth mask that people are making themselves out of not N95 stuff, like basically whatever goes, and it works. So I don't know. It's pretty ridiculous. So I don't know. I see this stuff when they're retracting it. I'm like, man, this kind of information is what people need to see. There's no spike. It's normal deaths. We're now supposed to believe that people dying every day, all the time, all deaths are COVID deaths, because that's what they were doing in Illinois. Any death, if they had COVID, was a COVID death. Same in Florida. There was a motorcycle accident, COVID death. Boom, someone got hit by a bus, COVID death. It's like, these are normal deaths. They're taking all these other, and actually, let me look. Here we go. This is another one. All right, this is So of these weeks, there was 800 deaths of heart disease. And so what this is basically saying, for every COVID death, there was that many or more less heart disease deaths. So it's like, oh, well, all these people weren't dying from heart disease anymore. They were just dying from COVID. So heart disease had less deaths, but they were still dying because they had bad hearts. That was still the reason they died, because they weren't healthy. Okay, so what are they trying to argue? We don't need a vaccine. We need to work out more. We need to eat healthier. Okay, that's what we need. We don't need this vaccine. We need to just be healthy. That's what we need. We got to stop eating terribly and exercise. That's it. And then you're good. Boom. That's all. Problem solved. All right. Next subject.